What have you learned from your audience feedback? In order to develop my products, the music video, the digipack and the poster, I had to learn what my target audience was and what their preferences are in order to develop these products around these individuals. Just in the same way real producers need to gain feedback from their audiences to create successful products, John Hartley, which is crucial as these, being my target audience, need products that they would enjoy in order to attract them to these products. From there, I would then further sell my products or my model's image, be it Ideal Self or Ideal Partner, called Rogers 1980, to my audience. Not to mention the music, yet the music video shall act as a media text to advertise all these things, creating a brand through my artist's personality and image, creating a star persona, Richard Dyer, 1983, for my model. An audience can be described as a temporary collective, Dennis McQuail, 1972, meaning that I would have to find out what my audience is and what they like music-wise. From there on out, I could refine my project in order for this massive individuals to enjoy my product. Expanding upon this theory, the single most significant audience feedback was received from my questionnaire during an evaluation we had to perform in front of our class. The evaluation of which we all had to do to inform our class of our project would have to be in a lot of detail, focusing on their finer elements of these aspired projects in order to receive the information we wanted from the class. I decided to give a parent-teacher mode of address. I would need to find out what my audience likes in order to develop this product, and so far I had only been working upon the alternative rock subculture stereotype, balls to Lippmann. Yet in the online age, it is in order to conceive a media audience as a stable, identifiable group. Julian McDougall, 2009. I would also reflect upon other matters, such as my male protagonist and my audience's opinion on them, and my female damsel, reflecting upon theories such as male gaze, Laura Bowlby, 1975, and voyeurism. And the great thing is, I can also check the relevance of these theories, as the class is also educated in these facts and these theories. Like a double check, with the great mass of individuals who I have, these same amount or larger quantities of information than myself. I first of all based the presentation I displayed to my class around base ideas from my narrative and mise-en-scène, the two single most influential factors regarding what course my music video would take to make their decisions more educated on their part. I gave them samples of my song and described what would happen throughout the video as the song played. I also brought in pictures of the course, of which I had chosen to which my artists would run, and images of my other model too, to give my audience, the class, a reasonably good idea of what my overall intentions are. Although the class didn't exactly class as the ideal target audience, I still decided to continue upon this attempt to receive some feedback on my work. As throughout the real media industry, it is important to carry out regular audience research using methods such as ratings, collection questionnaires, surveys, screen tests, Clark et al. 2007. So I decided to follow this theory and receive as much information as I possibly could surrounding my product. After this, I gave information on my song, not just information from my assumptions and my personal opinion on it. I actually let them devise their own and say about the song and whether or not the previous information given to my audience corresponded with the actual song, to which my audience could make up their own minds about. I even played a song within the same genre through Coldplay, and one from a similar rock genre, just to create a contrast on the song and how it differs that of other bands within the same genre overall. I also gave further connotations at my overall preferred readings out to the audience, as well as with this information too, to once again find out whether my ideas had problems with them. After this, throughout my presentation, I gave some final examples about my narrative and how it would slowly unfold throughout the course of the video. Not exactly going through the entire narrative, rather key elements of it, so that they could get a rough idea of what I was trying to achieve within my music video plan. After this, I displayed a project of which I did in my spare time, in order to display my skills to the audience, to which I would evaluate from their feedback whether or not they think I could pull off my ambitions within this project. Throughout this vid, I was able to go through my special effects and camera work, yet I was not able to display this vid simply because of the lack of time throughout my lengthy presentation. After this, I further evaluate upon my special effects, being slow motion and ghost shots through sophisticated superimposition predominantly, and through my camera angles and editing techniques to which I aspired to put into my video. Talking about how my predominant camera angle would be static, but I would be able to turn them into zoom shots or crabbing shots through editing the footage. After this process, I created a survey on surveymonkey.com in order to get feedback from the class by sending this presentation to my tutor, who then sent it via an email around to the class. From here, I asked a series of questions based on the topics within my presentation in order to receive information from this video. The only problem with this method, in my opinion, though, would be the relevance of this information to my overall project, as it may not be reliable, taking into consideration the musical taste of these individuals might not match that of my alternative rock subgenre. So the information might not be reliable, as said. Yet it was a significant piece of primary research, however, as many elements of my target audience and my imaginary entity, Len Ang 1991, match those of my target audience, meaning that the first section of information had a bit of relevance to the group of which I wanted to research, although it may not be the most reliable source. It was still information I received to which I could use to my advantage. As this was the first piece of information received that may have little or no relevance to my target audience, it was still relevant in my opinion wise, in the same sense of my other choices, such as the mise-en-scène and the camera work, and the general theories to which I applied within my demonstration, taking into consideration that these individuals are also renowned within the same medium as myself. Thus, they are able to give feedback and evaluate upon my work from a product analysis point of view, rather than a target audience. So the information is still significant upon certain aspects of the evaluation. I asked various questions in order to find out what my target audience thought about my pitch and my product altogether, to which I would then use this information. I had doubts about the amount of information that I attempted to cram into the presentation, along with the complexity of my preferred readings and connotations throughout my planned video, to which the audience disagreed, and stated that this level of complexity would only ensure the quality of the product, through the use of complexity yet not too cryptic. From this information, I decided to continue as planned with the product style and preferred readings. I then asked a question based upon elaborating their opinions surrounding my chosen artist and his abilities, and the song type in junction to creating an alternative rock music video. Another question where everyone agreed with my ideas, nobody pointing out any flaws within this area of my presentation, where I once again was happy about the choices, as I may have been on the right track. This next question, it involved a topic involving my narrative in general, talking about such things as, should I follow conventions of stereotypical alternative rock music videos with a love-based narrative, or should I challenge these conventions and twist the narrative on its head? Answers were mixed, naturalists, with such a complex question. But one of my main concerns surrounding an opinion with my product and my narrative, to which one student commented upon, the speed of my song mixed in with my slow motion, that some audience members might lose interest surrounding my song, as the visuals may not be interesting enough juxtaposed to the reasonably slow, boring music. I took this information into consideration, yet I did not act upon it, as I was sure that I could maintain the audience, or I could maintain the attention of my audience through the use of my unwinding narrative and the camera shots and the editing. My plan to always keep the camera moving, even though the ghost superimposition shots where the camera must be stationary static, through the use of sophisticated editing. So this topic did come to my attention, yet I undermined its relevance, as I had already taken it into consideration. Naturalists, some people voted for the outside-the-box route in order to get some original ideas into my product. Yet I sided with the other majority of the class that agreed that pastiching and following these already established conventions and ideas was the safest route, as I am not attempting to develop these elements. I simply wanted to integrate my video into the already established alternative rock music industry, an alternative rock subgenre, Dick Heritage 1979, among the likes of Snow Patrol and Coldplay. I would mainly be targeting those with a substantial amount of subcultural capital, Thornton at 1995, as these individuals would be the most driven to find content interlinked with the subculture. Evaluating upon my special effects, I asked whether they were too complex for my video, or whether they may have been beyond my ability concerning how much they would need to be used, to which everybody said that I was perfectly capable, and some responses even said that I could easily pull it off with my level of inspiration and drive concerning the project. Split screen was also a suggestion throughout my comments, expanding upon certain aspects of juxtaposing the model and my artist's faces in order to contrast in emotion from the two. Yet I found that adding another special effect upon my two already well thought through special effects may overcomplicate my piece, so I decided to overlook this special effect. From this, I began to discuss my concerns surrounding my video. I discussed the relation of the attire of the main artist from Coldplay and Snow Patrol, and how my artist reflects this in relation to Ideal Partner and Ideal Self, Carl Rogers 1980. After this, I asked whether or not my audience would enjoy the product I wished to create, to which my class agreed, meaning that there was no need to change my target audience, really, mainly because my class agreed with me that this would be the correct song to use for this product.